Okay, I believe we're on.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you had a good evening, and if you're joining from yesterday's sessions, I hope you're ready for some more. Today, with all of these different streams, we're going to see some of the excellent software partners that we're working with and how they've adapted their solutions to work with our technology. And this morning's session is by Transition Technologies. Transition Technologies is interesting because it's introduced spatial intelligence and spatial tracking to RealWear. But I'm going to let the guys introduce themselves. So I'm going to hand over now to Adam and Paweł to take you through what their solution is.
Hi there. Thank you very much for the introduction, and we are very happy to host all of you during this session. I see there's more and more people coming. I hope you are all safe and sound during this strangest of times, and that everybody has already worked out their way to understand what is happening with the world currently. My name is Paweł Wasilewski, and I'm the head of XR business development for Transition Technologies. And today we are here together with Adam Gąsiorek, who is the chief technology officer and who's going to run the technical part of the presentation. So the main part of this, I'm going to introduce you into Transition Technologies. I see that there's quite a lot of people who have already known us and who have already had a chance to meet. So welcome all of you. We're so happy that you are supporting us also during this virtual event, and special thanks to everybody who is here for the first time to learn about Transition Technologies as a trusted Industry 4.0 integrator, because this is generally the goal that we are trying to reach with this presentation. To tell you a little bit about our company, I'm going to show you the world map. In fact, because as it says in the claim, in the title, we are a company with the spirit of a startup, but with a highly international footprint. Transition Technologies, as a capital group, as one of the biggest Polish IT capitals group, is present on 22 different locations on 3 continents at the moment. And Transition Technologies PSC, the company we are representing, is the fastest developing company in the group, with the new office opened in Taipei this year, and with all the other expansion plans hold on for the moment until the situation clears out. Well, there's a lot of questions people always ask about extended realities, IoT, and Industry 4.0. And one of the questions is always like, oh, is it really adopted? Do people do that? Yeah, if you are really curious, or if you are not sure about that, please take a look at our international revenue increase for the last years. So starting from 2 million euro in 2000, we are on 66 million euro in 2017, and 2018 is going to be more than 50% up from that. So generally, I believe this is proof enough to say that Industry 4.0 is going on at the moment. And this is something that is for real. What makes us as a Transition Technology PSC so special? These are 4 things that we believe make us different. The first one is the ability to form long-lasting partnerships. This is something that I'm going to give you numbers for in a second. The other thing, the next thing, is the integrations. Having more than 2,000 developers on board, we are capable of integrating nearly any technology available. And we also do create some of technologies that Adam is going to inform you with in our research and development department, and really outstanding one, but I'm not the one to prove that, Adam, in a second. The fourth thing, which is the most important, I believe, is that none of the things we do is without a use case. So we are highly experience driven, and that's why today we are not going to pitch you with ideas, but we are going to show you some real use cases from our customers. So this is something that we believe makes us special, and this is something to prove what kind of relationships we are able to create. For the last 29 years, because we started out in 1991, we've been cooperating with Amazon. For the last 15 years, we are a solution center for PTC, and for 4 years, we are in strong relationships with RealWear, which I believe is also a proof of our stability and the thing that we are with them from the very beginning, in fact. Okay, so RealWear is generally the thing that we are going to talk about mostly. But to provide stable implementations and stable solutions for our industrial partners, because industry and manufacturing in particular is something that we are highly focused on, we needed to create an independent partner ecosystem that allows us to drive reliable solutions. This one is based on 4 different companies and 4 different global brands that provide these values. RealWear being the first of them here today for talking about hands-free devices and delivering technology to operational workers. The other one is Microsoft. We are a global partner for Microsoft, both in terms of Azure, which we are a gold partner with, and mixed reality, which we are a global mixed reality partnership with. So generally, Microsoft is a default partner for providing the infrastructure. PTC, our main partner in most things, also in R&D area. Well, if you don't know about PTC, it wouldn't be enough to use 45 minutes to talk about them. So let's just stick with the IoT PLM, which stands for Product Lifecycle Management, and augmented reality for manufacturing software producer, one of the biggest in the world. And in terms of OT, because it's quite impossible to drive industrial solutions without operational technology, so the main partner for us is Rockwell Automation, who deliver outstanding automatics, IoT and OT worldwide. This puts us in a very comfortable situation in the middle. As an integrator for all of these companies and more, we are able to connect nearly any dots to create solution. And below that, you can see the logos of the companies we are running digitization projects with. And in fact, these are only the projects from that began last year. So generally you can see the scale of the company here, and also the number of partners that we have only from 1 year, from the last year of our operations. Okay, anyway, today, as I said before, we are here to talk about RealWear and to focus on this outstanding device, the first world-class operational device that is able to be implemented on the shop floor. Well, probably the guys from RealWear, and you know, all of you have already heard quite a lot about the devices, so that's why I'm not going to talk about the device, but this is the moment when I'm going to hand over to Adam Gąsiorek, who is the CTO for Transition Technologies, a man of faith, honor, and technology. Adam, take it away.
Thank you, Paweł, for this introduction. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for your time joining to this session. I will have a pleasure to shed more light on the unique development that we conduct with our partners, with our customers, and I hope I could convince you that Industry 4.0 can happen even in those difficult times. So let's go to the point. What we do with those different flavors of assisted, augmented, mixed realities is we can sum it up in 3 aspects. First of all, we enhance communication between people, between workers, because we believe that people, frontline workers, are the most valuable assets. So no matter how advanced Industry 4.0 technologies could be, they just have to serve people. And we enhance communication between team members, between companies' departments, between manufacturers and customers, between customers and service providers, between manufacturers and contractors, and so on and so forth. And because every organization has its tribal knowledge, and we believe that those advanced technologies should serve people. We serve them in a way by enabling and engaging people to capture and share the tribal knowledge among the teams. And last but not least, providing right people with the right information at right time and right place can be implemented when visualizing data, planning the operations, documenting the work done. Why it is important? Because markets, industries are driven by several forces. So the top ones are related to worker skill gap. For instance, according to reports from World Economic Forums, there are more than 10 million vacants worldwide. The attrition within industrial companies is at the level of 30% in terms of frontline workers. We have to bridge this gap. Another force is related to higher and increasing complexity of products, flexibility of factories, complexity of work centers, and this worker skill gap as well. So that higher complexity impacts service maintenance, assembly operations, configuration management, or even simply access to up-to-date, to latest, greatest information. And if you keep in mind customer demands about personalized products, about just-in-time delivery, that is more and more true. So those challenges that we are overcoming with our solutions. So this is why we brought SkillWorx for frontline workers. This is a sweet family of solutions that serves workers. Workers are not perfect. Nobody's perfect. People make mistakes. People are sometimes inefficient. Usually that's because of time pressure, fatigue, lack of knowledge, or incomplete situational awareness. And we are changing that. Our solution understands worker physical location, thanks to the spatial intelligence, tracks the location, what people are supposed to do at specific location. So we introduce that in order to show what, where, and how should be done, and how to document what was actually done. And all that is to improve workers' safety, increase their performance and effectivity, and facilitate knowledge sharing. Because at the end of the day, it translates to reduction of human errors. How we achieve that? Those business drivers defines 4 main functional areas of SkillWorx family related to contextual document access, to remote mentoring with spatial annotations with overlays on the video stream in real time, digitizing the workflow, the procedures that are run in the field, on the factory floor in front of the assets, and last but not least, augmenting all that with live sensor data, IoT information, and data coming from multiple IT systems. And we look at workers from 3 angles. Making the workers connected, which means empowering frontline workers with digital work instructions constructed from many connected systems like PLM, product lifecycle management with engineering data, like MES with manufacturing execution system or ERP system. So different classes of solutions coming from different vendors, but integrated, and just empowering the workers with up-to-date information. Second aspect, assisting workers with, thanks to the spatial intelligence, spatial tracking, and sticky digital annotations that can be placed on physical elements, on physical assets, on physical products, equipment. And engaging, enabling the workers and engaging them to capture the knowledge. This is mainly for training and onboarding scenarios. We call it YouTube for manufacturing, and its purpose is to stimulate workers to capture on-the-job recordings and build incrementally and immediately knowledge base of procedures without sacrificing productivity.
Yeah, it's important. It's really important to say that we are driving solutions that are meant to be not for the managers really, but for highly operational workers. So people who do not really work with software much, but who need reliable solutions and assistance. On the other hand, we also enable people to effectively manage their knowledge bases, not only by accessing documentation or accessing things that have been created before, but also by co-creating their own know-how bases and sharing them nearly in real time.
And Paweł mentioned about trust, about long-term journeys, along which we accompany our partners, our customers. So let's have a look how SkillWorx accompanied us and Vestas during their digital transformation journey. So we started our journey with Vestas with two goals in mind. First one, to accelerate onboarding and support ramp-up cycles with easy-to-use tools, delivering technical information to production workers and giving the ability to track their performance. In this way, that could also contribute to facilitate the information flow, providing right and contextual information to assembly workers. So we came up to solution built from three main building blocks. So RealWear HMT1 platform to free worker hands, PTC ThingWorx operator advisor to implement the digital thread among PLM, MPM, MES, and ERP systems, and SkillWorx delivering glanceable and actionable insight to job orders, to work instructions, to engineering data, time and material reporting, and operation status. And this idea was driven by several challenges defined by Vestas. As Mark Jackson said yesterday, changing workforce and this worker skill gap is top priority, but it's not the only one. Classical paper-based work instructions, paper binders, are not efficient nowadays. Organizations needs to implement bidirectional knowledge sharing among departments and among workers, but also the need of reconfigurable manufacturing, of personalized products, pop-up factories, and the complexity of supply chain is the main reason why we strive to deliver those immediate step-by-step work instructions in a hands-free, voice-controlled way. To illustrate that, let me just echo Mark and repeat what is the impact of any single change in product configuration. As you may imagine, that wind turbine is a highly personalized and configurable platform. So every change in product configuration in sales and engineering impacts and every other step later on in the product lifecycle. So this is why Vestas invited us to the digitization roadmap. As you can see, it's quite well defined for next 3 to 5 years, and we had a pleasure to jump in last year, starting with digital work instructions, but later on scaling up the implementation and the partnership in other aspects. Today, I would like to focus on 3 areas. Start with this concept of digital work instructions that Mark Jackson introduced yesterday. So let's have a look how we empower assembly workers just by using knowledge transfer platform as HMT1 is. So the workers can fully focus on their job, on their work orders, and immediately access the information at a glance, access the pieces of information coming from many different systems, like the job orders, spare parts, engineering data, being able to take advantage of onboard camera, or even access three-dimensional engineering schematics. To be honest, at the beginning, I didn't even consider this as so important aspect of supporting frontline workers. We tend to say that picture is worth 1,000 of words, but I believe that such a flexible access to 3D designs and have the ability of voice controlled different point of views to that is even more valuable. So what were the results of that very first engagement, very first project? I like to quote Mark, the sentence that for the first time the technology is getting out of the way, just stands for itself. Workers have the ability to focus fully on the activities, on the job orders, thanks to this huge reduction of time needed to access the information. No need to search, to query for data, to leave the work center, sit in front of the computer, or stop the work because somebody has to pick up the paper binder or tablet. Everything just happens in background. Also the ability to record anything on demand, to trigger change request when something is inconsistent, or where maybe a worker found a workaround and would like to share with this with next shift. Also the time registration or material use happens in background. All those elements, all those results boosts the productivity. Yep. And efficiency of work.
Definitely, and the thing that is worth pointing out in what Mark says, Adam, could you go back for a second?
Sure.
Just is that, you know, generally, as Mark puts it, and something that we were mentioning before in the beginning of the presentation also, are the three things that I believe perfectly define the nature of what we are still looking for. Some may call it Industry 4.0, some may call it optimization, some call it just efficiency. So what Mark says is, for the first time, the technology is getting out of the way, which means you do not have to pay attention to technology while working, and at the same time technology is helping you out. The second thing is the non-value added tasks. This is the reduction of the time that people normally spend doing something that is unnecessary, inefficient, and can be done much faster today thanks to technology. And the third thing is that these very simple functionalities and this very simple tool, which is the RealWear device connected with the right software, bring you something that everybody is looking for, the competitive edge to what you do. More efficiency, more products, more, well, revenue in general, right? So this is something that is really worth remembering about. Looking for solutions doesn't have to be focused on sophisticated technological solutions. Looking for optimization means trying to be more efficient using the tools that you have available. And we do have quite a lot of available tools for doing that.
Exactly. And the goal is to implement business case, not the technology itself, right?
Absolutely.
Later on, we started thinking how to do it even in more effective way. So this is why we introduced spatial intelligence, our proprietary computer vision algorithms powered by artificial intelligence to give to HMT1 ability to understand the surroundings understand physical location of the worker, understand what are the assets in worker proximity. So then, of course, we can augment the remote mentoring scenario with those sticky annotations. No matter which distance or what angle worker is looking at the asset, he can perfectly see what to do, what to not touch,
or what not to do. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly. And what are the IDs of specific sockets, elements, cables, whatever guidance somebody remotely can provide. And this scenario nowadays, when we are working in distant locations to ourselves, can be also adopted to remote training and remote onboarding. So imagine that worker under quarantine or working from home office can support somebody on the shop floor in almost the same with almost the same efficiency as those two people could be together at the same location, right?
Yeah, generally what we are providing is the virtual over-the-shoulder method, yeah, without using anything that you would have to hold in your hands to communicate.
From this, we were exploring this computer vision, the spatial tracking more. Another example, instead of maintaining a forest of QR codes or any markers on the shop floor, we can simply leverage that real-time video analysis to check in at specific work center, at specific workstation, and filter out the job orders that are assigned to a person and to a specific place. And yeah, the video recorded a few days ago just to show you how it could be applied on, in many real-time scenarios, how those sticky annotations can be put in a persistent way on the equipment, on physical elements, how convenient it could be to tag assets like engine, like oil pump, like any part of the infrastructure. And whenever it is in the field of view of the worker, those annotations will pop up and guide the person.
And generally, they do work much better than streaming this video, this breaking video live. Yeah. Hopefully, you are not experiencing that. Maybe it's just at my home.
Third stage of journey, scaling that up to other use cases. So making the vision of connected worker and spread the word about the innovation across all the departments, all the plants within Vestas organization. Another great candidate for step-by-step work instructions, quality inspections and repair activities. So those are very similar challenges to those we listed for assembly area. And we also addressed those challenges by improving the communication and process transparency, by giving the ability of immediate on-the-job in-background reporting and material tracking. For quality control and inspection, documenting the work is critical, and ability to create reports and different types of documentation from that in the field material is really important. But also increasing the productivity and effectivity of teams by providing shift over continuity. So those different forms of user interface, no matter if people by their role need to access the information through web browser, tablet, or HMT1 device, All that is possible. Another use case, warehouse picking, with this vision of flexible manufacturing, flexible factories, and need to change the production process, adopt the production process, adjust to new models or to prototype manufacturing. You can imagine what pain that could generate to warehouse operations, logistics, picking. So this was another area of application we delivered. And there were many more use cases. We will not have time to cover all of them, but all have common denominators, either to capture the knowledge, access the information about the process, train people, or give them possibility to practice, to assess their skills, and to track their performance. And at the end of the day, all that translates to one simple KPI. Thousands of man hours that are saved per week, per site. How we work? We follow few simple rules. First thing is to understand people and purpose behind the use case. Who is target user? Who drives the vision? Who is responsible for the success? Why this particular use case is interesting? Why this or that experience should be useful? What are the pain points? What is the goal of the experience? What are the source data? How user will interact? So these are the things to define the business case and define the people behind them. Second phase, to collect tangible resources. And I mean by that standard operating procedures, job cards, visual indicators, 2D schematics, technical documentation, 3D data, color coding, whatever is a part of the tribal language of the organization, gives us a better opportunity to understand how people are working.
Yeah, because generally one of the most important things about implementing new technologies into existing processes is not to replace processes, is not to change processes at all, at least not in the initial stages. It's really important to understand what the process looks like and to enhance it, further improve it using different devices, different technologies. It's not about putting everything upside down. It's about making it better as it is.
And as we work iteratively, we have to define and track both short-term goals and long-term goals, and deliver iteratively to demonstrate the success of cooperation as early as possible, or fail and improve as early as possible.
Yeah, just as General Patton used to say, hope for the best, plan for the worst, isn't it?
Exactly, and that iterative approach gives also possibility to do early testing in industrial settings, keep people motivated, keep people engaged, not only the frontline workers, but also their supervisor, their sponsors. Let me bring what Mark said yesterday. If you remember one of the slides with COO putting RealWear on his head and trying the training application on his own, wow, that made the work better than all those training sessions and workshops to frontline workers. That was a huge motivational boost to see that executive level person,
that even an executive level is able to complete something manually, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
And during all those phases, all those activities, we have to keep in mind what we defined as the business case, what we defined as value for people. That model, those rules, gives the ability to scale up, to spread the word, starting with one project, one POC, one proof of value, and then organically grow within the organization, spread the word, and validate new use cases, demonstrate the applicability, demonstrate the value towards production rollouts. So what we focus on with SkillWorx and why, to sum up this part of presentation, safety first and user comfort first. Why it's so important? If by any means, if we deliver user experience that is less comfortable or not safe enough, the risk of rejecting the innovation will be close to 100%. That's why also how we perceive the world, how we augment the world is important, because that can reduce what scientists call cognitive load, and provide this glanceable user experience and augment human five senses, keeping the connection with the real world, or not.
To make the technology get out of the way, right?
That's right. Another barrier, content authoring, provide easy to use tools to share the knowledge, share the information, to capture this tribal knowledge, and keep this effort as low as possible. And nowadays, multi-user interaction, no matter what the distance is between us, this is more and more important. So, of course, Vestas is not a single case. As Paweł mentioned at the beginning, we have pleasure to work with customers from many verticals, many sectors. I highly invite you to contact with us and explore those scenarios, those industries, case studies. Of course, we will be here for a few minutes to answer your questions, but what I can advertise, what Paweł can advertise here, meet us and see Industry 4.0 in action.
Yeah. Because generally, as much as we wanted to put in this short presentation is probably much more than you can handle in terms of remembering. And on the other hand, it's not even a half of what we do. So generally, the thing that is the most important to remember is that solutions driven by IT, they need to be real, and they need to be used by OT. So generally on the philosophical level, they just need to exist. If you want to experience existing solutions and see how things work during also this very specific time, I would like to invite everybody for a remote presentation of the technologies that we are offering, to see them live and operating. We will be happy to give you a demo on a specific case or a more generalized demo to show how IoT really works, how extended realities can be used to support operational workers during a one-to-one or few-to-few presentations that we gladly invite you to contact with us and organize, right? So there is a Q&A section in the interface in front of you. If you have any questions, we will be most happy to answer them. There is the first one from Sylvia. Hi, Sylvia. Can the software be used on all types of tablet, Android and iOS? Referring this question to SkillWorx, I will give the answer to Adam, of course.
Yeah, the answer is simple. Yes, it can be supported. So even that spatial intelligence, the uniqueness of the approach is hardware, that it is hardware agnostic. So what we basically need from the device is a regular camera and connectivity.
Okay. Are there any more questions that you would like to answer? Okay, there is another one. Is the AR solution customizable, not only in terms of configuration and definition of workflow, but also through the use of APIs, for example, through software connectors? For example, regarding the picking scenario. I'm so happy, Adam, you are here with us today.
Great question. Yes, as we mentioned, the examples that that we showed, they were implemented as integrations with systems like Windchill, like SAP, like ThingWorx, like Aprizo, Jira, Dozuki. So yes, we are a software house, we are technology providers, we have the abilities to implement with your systems. As we said, we wrap and extend what you already have in the organization as processes, as also IT building blocks.
Yeah, on the very business level, we do not want to mess around with the things that exist in your infrastructure and are efficient. We can make them more efficient. Just as Adam mentioned, for example, SkillWorx is integrated with at least a couple of workflow software available on the market, including, for example, Atlassian Jira or Dozuki, a smaller solution. So generally, the point of using this type of software that we produce is to make other systems, make other data sources more accessible and in the right context. Okay, another question from Piotr. Cześć, Piotr. Does the tool have a ready integration with PCS 7? Adam, you are a standard reply provider, so.
Yeah, the integration with any kind of industrial hardware, the easiest way we implement is via the ThingWorx platform or OPC protocols. I hope that answered the question.
Okay, Matthew, hello, nice to have you here, Matthew. Could we see some of the options you have to build a workflow? Of course, please use our emails to set up a live presentation. No problem with that.
I can see also a question from Jesus Ortega about training a model to perform SLAM. So to quickly touch this point, all that scanning and tracking happens in real time. So literally all the worker has to do is to look around himself, herself, while doing the job, and then our computer vision algorithms take care of translating that real-time two-dimensional recording to three-dimensional cloud of points. Such a map then can be obviously stored, persisted, and reused. So whenever somebody else comes into this area, he or she will be presented with markers, with annotations that has been defined previously.
Which is quite specific to what we do and quite unique about our solutions. Nicola is also digging in a little bit about the customization of the AR solution, so about SkillWorx, and she's asking if this is customizable by the customer, as far as I am concerned. And the simple answer is yes, of course. That's the point. We do not input every single procedure from the customer, because this is physically impossible to be handled, right? The procedures, they change from on daily basis very often. So generally, we provide a tool and we help to recreate your workflow in a digital way. And we also enable our customers to implement changes whenever they need to, right? So this is the point. It's not an IT solution. It doesn't require a developer, or it doesn't even require anybody who's from IT department to implement changes. This is a tool for operational workers, definitely.
Yeah, and then another example of this independence, let's say, if you are, for instance, machinery producer and you want to tag your product with documentation using SLAM and spatial tracking, You can perfectly do it on your own by putting the documentation markers on the device, on the assets, then ship your machinery along with RealWear HMT1 and the map on the device.
Exactly. Eduardo asks if the activities can be recorded.
Yes.
Of course, that's what I was talking about earlier on, that it's not only about accessing the knowledge that already exists, it's also about people creating the active knowledge base on real-time basis. So yes, the activities can be recorded, and then they can be also easily implemented into procedures or added as attachment or added as incidents and so on and so forth. Absolutely. Okay. I see no more questions. Yeah.
That's amazing work, guys. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Really insightful and really useful, and you've answered everybody's questions as well. So gold star.
Thank you very much. We did our best, and we were happy to be here, and we are really happy to get so many questions here. So we will be also most happy to answer any other relevant questions. You can use our emails that you can see. We'll also have the contact data in the info pack you are going to get after the event. RealWear, Aaron, thank you very much for having us here. We are really happy to be here for the second time. So we're here since the very first RealWear Connect, and hopefully we are going to be on all the next ones arriving.
Absolutely. If you carry on at this rate and getting those gold stars, definitely.
Thank you very much. So we're off.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you for support. Thank you for attendance. Bye-bye. Take care.
For those of you joining any other sessions, we'll see you soon. Remember that you'll need to join the unique link of the other session rather than carrying on this session. For those of you leaving us, have a great day. Thanks for joining, and remember to stay safe out there. Goodbye.